Do you like the show and you want to make your own? Well, let me tell you about Anchor. It's free. They're creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And now you can even add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless for what you can create. Now, Anchor is going to distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast. No minimum listenership needed. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
Welcome in. It is the Wednesday, August 17th edition. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I am your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for tuning in. Coming up on the program today, we're going to hear from the head coach of the Marshall women's soccer team, Michael Swan. Birds in action, getting the season underway tomorrow. So today is a good time to catch up with him and talk about the upcoming season and get a preview of tomorrow's contest. And then usually we've got Lindsay Webb from the Charleston Dirty Birds. Now, she can't be with us today. However, we've got to fill in that will be more than capable of filling the role that Lindsay from the Dirty Birds fills. She described him as the Rod Blackstone. So Rod is coming on the program today. I love it. Instead of just saying, hey, Rod's coming on today, she gave me this long bio. She texted it to me. So this long bio of Rod, former deputy mayor, 2022 Dancing with the Stars, Charleston Judges Choice winner. Lindsay was his partner, so she had to throw that in. And, of course, the Toastman. And she added some other stuff. I'm not going to share that with you, but all she had to say was just, hey, the Toastman, if you know, you know. So Rod's going to be with me here in a little bit. We're going to talk Dirty Birds. I'm excited about that. And that means the other part of the show is going to be all about you. Text line is 304-396-TALK. That's 304-396-8255. That's the text line to be a part of the program today. And, of course, if you are not sending in your text, instead you want to be on social media, that's fine. I'm there, too, on Twitter, at Paul Swann. I've got the Twitter app up already on my phone, ready to go, so I will more than likely see your tweets. And I've got the text machine wide open now. It's on. It's ready to go. So I will see your text. I will see everything you send in to me today. So where do we begin? I think we got to begin with the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, I'm getting excited. We're getting closer to the start of the regular season. Joe Burrow's out there. He's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I'm actually going to have to go find a newsstand and find a Sports Illustrated an issue with him on the cover, just so I can go see it. I haven't read the story yet. I was hoping to actually find the magazine and get a little bit more from that, but from all indications, Sports Illustrated did a great job talking about Joe Burrow, the Bengals, and I'm looking forward to seeing what their NFL preview looks like. So he's on the cover. I'm excited because when's the last time? I really don't know when the last time we've had this much consistent, serious talk about the Cincinnati Bengals and putting them in the conversation every year as a team that may contend for a run at the Super Bowl. Also, the Bengals today signing free agent cornerback Javarius Davis, and they waived cornerback Bookie Radley Hiles. Davis is 5'10", 186 pounds. He is a first-year player out of Auburn. Originally was a free agent signee of the Kansas City Chiefs in 2020. He has spent some time on the Miami Dolphins practice squad during the 2020 and 21 seasons, and he played in one game for the Dolphins in 21. Radley Hiles was a free agent signee out of college in May. So that's the transaction wire today for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the big story is Joe Burrow's back. I don't know how much we're going to see of him, though. How much really, with only 3 exhibition games, preseason games, and the fact that you want to just get him to the regular season. You don't want to risk anything. I don't know how much you might see him in that third game, maybe. That's my guess. We'll see. Does he need the reps, really? I don't think so. I mean, I think he's ready to go. He just needs to get out there and go through a workout. I mean, that's a great feeling about your quarterback. Just have him out there, have him take a few reps. Okay, he's good to go. Everything's all ready and waiting for the start of football season for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm excited about it. So, if you see that Sports Illustrated, let me know. Let me know where it's at. If I think it's coming out on Thursday, so if you're out, you know where it's at. Let me know. I am hoping to go get one myself. I don't want to get a wrinkled copy. You know what I'm saying? You know, you hate that. You go to the magazine rack. I know this is a rarity, but you go to the magazine rack and you pick up the magazine, and I'm looking. I try to get the one that's in the middle or the back because I don't want the one that's up front because people have handled that one. I figure if people are serious about buying one, they're going to try to get one from the back. If they just want to look at it, they're going to take the one that's up front because it's all wrinkled. So I want a nice, pristine one if I can get that cover. Then again, we do live in a digital age. Maybe I'll just find everything I need on the internet, whatever the case may be. The Cincinnati Bengals, we're going to have all the games for you here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Hey, let's talk about the Butkus Award. This is the 2020 Butkus Award High School Preseason Watch List, and I get this mailing today, and I go down the list, kind of get an eye for who's on the list, anyone I know, and Trevor Carter from Ironton on the list. So congratulations to Trevor. So we're going to have to keep a better eye out on what the Fighting Tigers are doing this year and what Trevor is doing. So 2020 Butkus Award High School Preseason Watch List. Trevor Carter from Ironton, Ohio on the list. So congratulations to him. This is it's like, I think, whether 50. There are 51 people on the list. Florida had the most with 11. Georgia had 8. Texas had 4. And then it's spread out pretty fair. Mississippi had 3. Pennsylvania had 3. And then, we're getting into states with just 2 and then 1. Like California had 2. Hawaii had 2. Ohio had 2. Alabama had 1. West Virginia not on the list of high schools. Kentucky not on the list. Pretty elite list. And I would imagine how hard of a list this is to put together. So many high schools, so many kids to keep an eye on. So I sometimes I look at these preseason rankings and these recruiting grades, and I'm thinking, I mean, that's a great guess. I hope you're right on those numbers because there are a lot of kids out there, and I don't know if someone can honestly narrow it down with the amount of participation in high school sports, high school football. You can narrow it down, but here we are. So an interesting list to be on for certain, and Trevor Carter making the list. So again, we offer our congratulations out to him. When we continue with the show, we're going to start with Michael Swan, the head coach of the Marshall women's soccer team. Had a chance to hang out with him yesterday over at Hoops Family Field for a little bit, and he said he'd come on the show so we could talk about the match at hand coming up tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing what the women can do. Yesterday, I had a chance to talk to a couple players as well. Morgan White, I'm looking forward to seeing what Morgan's able to do out there. She's definitely got it all in perspective as one of the team leaders. So we'll talk to Coach when we continue later on. We're going to talk about the Charleston Dirty Birds, our usual segment, this time without Lindsay Webb. No Lindsay today. We've got Rod Blackstone. If you know, you know who he is. If you don't, all you need to know is the Toast Man cometh. That's coming up later on in the program here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Wednesday, August 17th edition. The Drive continues on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Coming up tomorrow, Marshall Women's Soccer beginning the season, taking on High Point University. The Thundering Herd will play host to High Point. The Panthers already have played one exhibition game, and it was a 2-1 loss to Coastal Carolina. That was last Saturday. And to talk more about that contest and his team, the head coach of the Marshall women's soccer team, Michael Swan, joins me. Good talking to you again. Hey, it was just like yesterday. I was hanging out at your place.
Yeah. Thanks for coming by. It was a great little event that we had.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good because got to talk to some of the players, and they're excited. You definitely have some veteran leadership on this team now, and you've got some new talent come in as well. So do you believe that you're finally at that point in the process where the cycles are going to start making sense as far as the players coming in and the players leaving?
Yeah, 100%. I think you picked up on it yesterday, Paul, and I think the other folks in the room did too. And we had the opportunity to talk to you guys in person. They're excited. They're raring to go. They've got some great heads on their shoulders. They understand and understood the process now. I don't think they quite did that a couple of years ago, but you can see them just shining out in the field and in the locker room now with the whole group. So they are ready.
They also have something to be really excited about. Not only the first match, the first regular season contest, that's enough right there. But then you get into a new league with the Sun Belt. And I asked you this yesterday as far as if you believe the reality matched what the perception of Marshall women's soccer was, and you said it wasn't. Where do you believe the disconnect is? Is it just so much newness with going into a new league? Are you looking at the coaches poll and you're thinking, okay, who's really going to be good here? You're throwing darts. How do coaches try to figure this out with so many new teams and so many new situations?
You know, I think we know the teams that have been traditionally, the teams at the top in Conference USA, and then of course the Sun Belt, which we're going into. So you can see those teams already kind of, on the polls, looking at where the polls might be and who's in which, the East and the West. So you can see where that voting's going to lie. What you don't really see with it all is, what's each team going to bring and who's going to really rise to the, from the middle up to the top. And, that's where the interesting polls come out. You can't read too much into it because, again, a lot of these teams don't know one another. They don't know what we've done in preseason, or they don't know what we've done with our recruiting. So I think it's a reflection of not knowing, but also looking at the past records and, taking a wild guess at what it's going to be like a year from now. And I think that's a reflection of what we see. Personally, I don't think we're anywhere close to where they put us. It's seventh. I think it is now sixth in the East. I think we'll be a lot higher than that. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Of course, we don't want to go in there overconfident. But what I've seen out of the players and just the mood in our camp, kind of gives me a little bit of self-confidence in what they're doing.
Yesterday, Morgan White was among some of the players we had a chance to speak with, Abby Hugh as well. Those two obviously are going to be outstanding for you, but when you look at your roster, who's caught your eye? Who's having a standout camp and that you're excited to see when it comes to an actual game that counts?
Yeah, we named a couple of players yesterday, in the press conference, and I kind of handed it back to the players, and they named a couple more when they talked about it. But I'm just going to be honest, Paul. They've all had a great camp, from top to bottom. They've shone, and I think it's one of those things with the mood. You get the mood right, and you get the energy right, you're going to get the best out of people, and we've done that. The players have done that in the locker room. I'm watching them walk into our facility now, and there's groups that are walking in that I wouldn't have seen walking in together 12 months ago. So we can pick players out, but I honestly believe this, and I see it every day in training. it's a group effort. It doesn't matter if it's 11 players and they're playing against another 11 players, and it's pretty obvious who's in the top group and who's in the bottom group. They're just bringing it. And they're doing it with a lot of grit and energy, and at the same time, they're doing it with an open mind and learning at the same time. So what they've done in the last couple of weeks, I'm so proud of them, because we could have easily, kind of went back to old ways a little bit, if you want to call it that, but they're excited about the new ideas and the new energy.
Michael Swan joins me, the head coach of the Marshall women's soccer team. One player that you have to single out is the keeper. You have to make a decision. I know you might have a little bit more time before you have to reveal that, but are you settled on a keeper, or is that still going through your head right now? Where do you go from there on the roster?
Here's a kind of a Christian Spears take on this. And we were sitting, Christian talks about discourse and bringing out the best of people and different things. And we sat in the office today, and I asked our assistant coaches, who is it? And they couldn't really say. So we talked about the process of it and who do we think's going to win that spot. And we came to the conclusion that we've got to give it a few weeks, so we're still kind of picking and choosing or looking and hoping and encouraging all at the same time about the group of goalkeepers that we've got. We've got a veteran goalkeeper who's phenomenal. We've got a freshman goalkeeper who's a live wire that's just brimming with confidence, and then we've got two a sophomore and a junior who could be the starters. I mean, they've got all the energy, they've got everything they want. They've shot stopping, crossing, talking. Each player's got a little bit different. It's now who's going to be the most consistent in the next few weeks and try and win that spot. Kind of like a quarterback on a football team, and you got to keep your cards as close as you can to your chest and keep the confidence up of everyone as well at the same time. So we've got a really good group of goalkeepers, and I've no doubt that whoever shines and gets to the top, there's going to be 3, 2, and 1 pushing her right behind it. It's going to be that much of a competition.
Okay, but if I had to say today, give me a name, would you give me a name? Just pick your favorite.
No.
Okay.
I don't have one. My favorite is all 4 of them. They are exceptional individuals, and they are bringing the best out of each other. I joked yesterday with Abby and Morgan. You were sitting there, and they looked at me, and they didn't have an answer. We might do an exercise in the next hour to try and figure out who it might be on the practice field, but I don't think we're going to have the final answer for a week or so.
Michael Swan's with me, the head coach of the Marshall women's soccer team. So I can't pin you down on your keeper just yet, but is that a situation? You mentioned football quarterback situation, but if you have 2 really good quarterbacks, do you have really a starting quarterback? More akin, though, to hockey, if you've got really good goaltending, you've got 2 really good goaltenders, you can maybe make a run. Is that sort of close to your situation, that you don't necessarily need one that's really better than the others? You just need them all to be really good and at that same level?
Yes. Yeah, that's how we're going to treat the next few weeks. Is each one of them is going to be hopefully given an opportunity, bar injuries, bar a little bit of bad luck, whatever it might be, to either start a game, get in the game, get the experience that we need. We've got an amazing group. I can't speak enough about them and what they're doing in between the poles to just give us that confidence. It's kind of like, you said quarterback, I said quarterback, you said hockey. It's kind of like a pitching situation where you got 4 or 5 pitchers in a rotation. We might use that. I might call Coach Wags and try and figure out how he does that. But we're going to keep them fresh, keep their minds fresh at the same time, not get them to overthink the situation. There's not many programs in the country that can really sit down and go, man, we've got a clear, we've got a clear top 4. We've got a clear number 1 and we've got a clear number 2. We're different. We've got all 4 of them are right there in the mix.
My guest is the head coach of the Marshall women's soccer team, Michael Swan. You've got High Point coming up tomorrow. This is a team that was picked second in the Big South coaches preseason poll. They're an NCAA team. They've already seen a little action. It was an exhibition game. Took a 2-1 loss to Coastal Carolina last Saturday. Have you had a chance to maybe look at that game, and is that really going to be an indicator of what you'd expect tomorrow?
It's hard to find the games with preseason, and it's one of those things that we do as coaches in preseason is we keep our cards really close to our chest. And when we played Bellarmine and we played EKU, we had the agreement not to share scouting reports. So what we're going off is what have they done in the past? What have they got coming back? Who have they brought in? Can we find the right information on our videos? Can we kind of guess, what they may present us? Luckily for me, I've seen some of these players play in North Carolina because we played them when I was at Charlotte. So I know a little bit about their style of play or what they did. Again, they're under new leadership, so that could change. So we're piecing that together on our scouting report. But what we're focusing on more than anything is the two weeks that we've had as a group and what we're good at and what we need to get better at. And that's really going to be the focus tomorrow night is control the emotion, control the tempo, put the ball in the right areas that we can hurt the team and stop the other team, doing what we think they could be doing.
I want to single out a couple of players. I know it's going to be hard for you, but I think we have got the right players to single out. What does Kat Gonzalez bring you? She's had a tremendous career so far. She got called up to the Dominican Republic women's soccer national team, so that's invaluable experience. So what does that translate to when she's on the pitch for you?
She so Kat, Kat, when she was with the Dominican, she scored the goal against Jamaica, and at the same time that was happening, the team was actually playing a game, and I was traveling back from Arizona on a recruiting trip, and we bumped into each other in the airport, and she's just stood there and said, I want to go pro, I want to change my mentality, and I want us to have a great senior year. And they were the words that came out of her mouth, and it was a little bit frustrated how we played in the game in the spring, but what can we do? And what we've seen in the last 2 weeks out of Kat is she's just taken her game, her mentality to another level. It's almost like she's prepping herself to try and make a career out of the game, and she can absolutely do that. She's enjoying the new players around her. You can see that. She's taken some of the younger players under her wing in training. You can see them giving advice, and she's got this creative side of a game that not many people have got. She can manipulate the ball, she can put spin on the ball, put it in the right places. Going into the final third, what she's also developed in the last probably 2 weeks, or I would say 6 months, is she's got this desire to win the ball back, and she's leading us in there. She's just got a different dimension to her game, and it's just filtering through the squad. So that's where she's taken it, and then what's happened with that is everyone's just jumped on the wagon, and we just keep going. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but it's exciting. It's really exciting. It's kind of the things I envisioned when I came to Marshall, what this program could look like, and where we want to take it. And I can tell you, just the way we play, the kids are absolutely enjoying it. And
the other one I want to single out, conference freshman team member Meg Jarvis, a new conference now, so we'll see how that translates. But how have you seen her improve from that freshman season?
It's maturity again. It's these players that came here and got off the planes or got dropped off by their parents, and they've showed up on campus, and they've just got this different mentality, this different look about them. And for Meg, she's wanting to do video every day. It's this willingness to get better individually and to really get better as a team. Meg's got a different kind of way of doing things this fall. Is she's very much we're a passing team now. We're going to knock the ball around, and she's got a great way of holding it up. But what she's also doing is she's getting herself into these right areas to score goals. All freshmen, you don't get an all freshman team just because you're a freshman. It's because you got talent to go with it. And what she's done in preseason is She's taken it to a different level with, what can she do outside of the box. And now when we get the games going, she's going to show you what she's going to do in the box too. So she's a natural goal scorer. We've challenged her to be better outside the box. And she's doing that. And she's wanting to see how she can do it on video and, maybe spend a little bit of extra time finishing with Chloe, our assistant coach, who's got some NCAA records herself with scoring goals. So she's just bought in. She's bought into this, and she can't wait to get started.
My guest, Michael Swan, head coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd. The women's soccer team is in action tomorrow, 7 o'clock, Hoops Family Field. Let's hope we see a rowdy crowd out there and get that first win against High Point and put everyone on notice.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We do feel we've got a big group coming. I know that the athletic department's kind of trying to get some folks from orientation down there, and we've got our list of folks that we're going to get on social media. So please come out. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a great atmosphere. First game in 2022 for any Marshall team, and we want you all to be there.
The week of welcome. That would be a great event. Just bring all the students down for the week of welcome, put them right there, and get them initiated right away. That'd be perfect.
Absolutely.
Coach, thanks for doing it again. I will see you soon, and good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Paul. Take care.
That is the head coach of the Marshall women's soccer team, Michael Swan. When we continue, we're going to talk about the Charleston Dirty Birds with Rod Blackstone, the toast man, filling in for our former best friend in Dirty Birds, Lindsay Webb. She's not on the show this week, so we've got to bump Rod up. Rod's our favorite. When we continue here on The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Well, it's Wednesday night. You know what that means. That means it's time to talk Charleston Dirty Birds baseball. Unfortunately, I don't have Lindsay Webb, but I can tell you this, though. Lindsay might be getting replaced here because I've got joining me now on the program. And I've got to share this with you, Rod. The toast man's with me, Rod Blackstone. When Lindsay said, hey, I've got a replacement for you today, I said, great. And she typed out this bio as if no one knows who you are. She's like, you're getting the Rod Blackstone today, the, in all caps, former deputy mayor, 2022 Dancing with the Stars, Charleston Judge's Choice winner. She had to mention she was part of that. And she said...
She was a bigger part than I was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then she said, and most famously, the toast man. And she also added, he knows everything there is to know about our team.
Oh, wow. That's high pressure. You know, raising expectations. In politics, all those years in politics, I learned to lower expectations so you could always exceed them or try to exceed them and then leave people thinking, wow, that was impressive, as opposed to, you set high expectations. You fall short and everybody's disappointed. So the pressure's on me. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it's on you. But I like how she typed that out as if no one knows. If you know, you know. I mean, you know the Rod Blackstone.
Doesn't mean everybody does. No, not everybody does. Okay. Not everybody is able to come over here as much as we'd like them to, and so they might never have experienced toast. They're welcome to. We're home tonight, tomorrow, through every night through Sunday, and then next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So there's plenty of baseball left here.
So for the sake of argument, for those who have not experienced toast, what is that experience like?
Well, it all started about a little more than 30 years ago, whenever we were sitting with home plate to our right and the visitors' dugout to our left. And somebody said, I don't think it was me, I think it was somebody else who just chanted at somebody who struck out for the other team, "You are toast." And we started cheering it and chanting it at every strikeout victim for the other team, not for the home team. And then in 1992, Dennis Bastine, who owned the Wheelers at that time, told me, hey, that's really cool that you're leading that cheer. Why don't you sit down in the front row, make toast at the ballpark, and wave it at them? I'm like, all right. So we've been doing it for 30 years. 30 years of toast this year. So that's the basic gist of it. And then we also try to find other ways to distract the other team and also support the home team. We're cheering for our guys every single time they come up, and we're trying to do what we can to give the other team something to think about, so they might not be focusing quite as much on that next pitch or next play or whatever might be coming down the way.
I wish we could translate that to football. I mean, we could get you a spot at Jones C. Edwards Stadium, plug you up a toaster if you need to. I wish we could translate that.
I was a season ticket holder over there back in the late 90s.
It was a good time to hold season tickets. Yeah, that was a good time to have tickets.
It was, and it was a lot of fun, and got into the tailgate party scene that is really great over in Huntington too. So it was a lot of fun. Those were the fun years. In fact, here's a football story. I remember being out on the parking lot at halftime of one of the games, and J.R. House happened to be there, and it was J.R. House, who was a star quarterback from Nitro, who then also got drafted by the Pirates, and is still, I think he's the bench coach for the Reds right now, or at least he was the last time I checked. But J.R. was a really great guy, and right around that time is when he got drafted, and I said to him, "I'm so glad you chose baseball because so many people don't." And so we had an encounter on the parking lot at halftime of a Marshall game to thank him for choosing baseball back in like 1999 or 2000.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of people don't choose baseball. Baseball's such a tough sport. It feels like to sell to kids these days, and hopefully that changes more with new baseball park finally going to be built for Marshall University. Of course, you've got some great college facilities in the state. Of course, Appalachian Power Park, a great destination, so it feels like baseball may be back on the upswing, at least in the Mountain State.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, when I was Little League age, everybody was playing baseball. When I was growing up, all the best athletes, especially the best African-American athletes, like Willie Mays and Hank Aaron and Willie McCovey and Luke Brock and Fergie Jenkins, run down the list, were choosing baseball. And that's changed over the years. And also, it is tougher to get all kinds of kids involved because there's so many things to do out there for kids these days. Now, I would say from a fan standpoint, purely from a fan standpoint, one of the great things about baseball is it is the best sport, I believe, to be able to engage in conversation with people because there's enough time in between pitches and in between big plays that you get to visit with friends and family and also join in some live action, clearly. And one of the things we do in the toast section is try to engage people in the game as much as possible. And I tell you what, this year has been just delightful. We've added to some new faces into the toast section who experienced it a few times last year and became season ticket holders because they had so much fun. And we really just built up some camaraderie, and some of my best friends in Charleston I met at the ballpark over the years, and we shared that baseball experience. So it's great for that. It's great to be able to bring out the families and friends. You don't have to know a lot about the games to understand what's going on, and to be able to just visit with folks and watch some action at the same time, and maybe even wave a piece of toast at the opposing strikeout victim. Just don't eat the toast. You don't know where it's been.
It's great you say that, and I'll tie into that. I got a book pitch today, and that ties right into it. 61% of adults struggle with loneliness, and sports is the antidote.
Yes. It's where we find common ground, even in the polarized society that we have today. If you think about how longtime friendships are strained because one person likes this person, another person doesn't, or whatever, that baseball sports in general can be uniting. No matter what the politics are behind Marshall fans, they come together to cheer them on in the basketball season, football season, other seasons throughout the year because that becomes a uniter. And so there's absolutely some opportunities for camaraderie. And every once in a while, I'll say something political to somebody sitting next to me, and they'll look at me and say, at the ballpark, and they'll say, yeah, this is baseball. None of that, please. So.
Fair. That's fair. That's a fair statement there.
Exactly. Yeah, we're here to watch baseball. So, and that's even somebody who agrees with my politics.
Nice.
So.
I like that even better. Rod Blackstone is with us. The Charleston Dirty Birds are in action. Usually Lindsay avoids my conversations when I say, hey, how'd the Dirty Birds do last night? She said that's fair game today with you and me. So yesterday
sure.
It was an 8-4 loss. Looked like the Dirty Birds were going to win earlier. I mean, they had an early lead. Yeah.
Yeah, we I thought we had their pitcher on the ropes. Unfortunately, we didn't do the knockout punch when we had the bases loaded and 1 out. I think it was the bottom of the second inning, and then our pitcher looked great. He was striking out a lot of people in the first two. And then they started walking some folks and hitting a few batters, and they scored 7 in the third inning and took a lead that we never overcame. But we still fought back, scored another run, put us in the position to be able to come within 4. But yeah, it was a little disappointing after it started so well. I thought we were headed for a victory, but that's part of baseball too. Sometimes that happens. And one of the things about baseball, somebody said this to me once, and I've been checking it every once in a while ever since. If you look at a box score, that the winning team scores as many or more runs in one inning as the losing team does all game. So baseball is a game of big innings. Last night was a good example of that. Tonight we hope to turn that around against the High Point Rockers. And I tell you, the other thing that's fun about this game, one of the pitching coach for the High Point Rockers is a guy named Frank Viola, who I think won a Cy Young Award as a left-handed pitcher for the Minnesota Twins and a World Series with them. And he used to be the pitching coach in the Mets organization and came here as an opposing pitching coach when we were affiliated and his teams were affiliated. Now he's in independent baseball as well, being a pitching coach for the High Point Rockers. We have a lot of fun with Frank. He's a great baseball guy and just a great guy, and we'll share stories, and I'll even heckle him from my section and about leaving a pitcher in too long, and he'll just eat it right up and give it right back. So it's a lot of fun to have these people here and to have baseball here. Quincy Lattimore is playing for the High Point Rockers this week here in town. He played for the Power in 2009 as a rising star in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization, and has had a pretty good career, long professional career, has driven in 1,000 runs in professional baseball, and is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. He's in North Carolina, so he's playing for a team that's close to his hometown. There's a guy named Logan Morrison who's playing for the other team tonight. He came up through Greensboro, had a long major league career, playing for the Marlins and the Phillies, and he's here this week, at least through tomorrow night. And then we'll have the Lancaster coming in, and then the Gastonia Honey Hunters come in next week. They've been dominating our league so far in our division, won the first half, and still in first place in the second half, too, with a guy who played for us in 2019 as a rising star in the Seattle organization, a guy named Joseph Rosa, who could very well be the MVP of the league now, playing for Gastonia. And we saw him play and got to know him in 2019.
My guest from the Charleston Dirty Birds, Rod Blackstone, do you feel this team has a run in it? I mean, can you see the Dirty Birds making it really interesting before it's all said and done in the standings?
I think so. I mean, we are down but not out. We're a few games under 500 and 8 games back of Gastonia at this point. But let's put it this way. It's about halfway through the second half. So we've got 35 games that we've played, and that means we have not quite that many, but I think it's like 32 left or something like that. So if we get hot at the right time, baseball is a lot about momentum, and especially because you're playing just about every day but Monday in this league. So if we get hot at the right time and start building some momentum, yeah, we could take a run at the second half championship. That's what happened last year. Last year we were average in the first half, and then came back in the second half and got into the playoffs and ultimately lost to the eventual champion, the Lexington Legends, and what was a close game and a close series and a winnable series for us. So anything's possible in baseball, and that's what's great. I mean, we've got Anthony Seymour. He's from the Bahamas, one of the most exciting players that you'll see. The top of the lineup, we have a guy named Nick Heath. When Anthony and Nick get on base, it's a pitcher's nightmare because they're two of the fastest guys in the league. We've got Edwin Espinal, whose cheer is "To the Wall, Espinal." Heck, if last week in a home game here on Thursday, first game of doubleheader, he hit 3 home runs and a 2-run double, having like 8 RBIs in one game. Edwin came up through the Pirates organization as a rising star here in 2014, now came back as an independent player. So Edwin Espinal's here. Alfredo Gonzalez is one of the hottest hitters in the league. We also have a guy named Devon Torrance, who used to play defensive back for the Ohio State Buckeyes back in around 2009, 2011, in that time frame. And now he's a left fielder. And Jovan Gonzalez is here again this year. He helped lead us to the playoffs last year. So there's a lot of great people here and a lot of fun action going on. So come on out.
My guest is Rod Blackstone. He is filling in for Lindsey Webb. And before we let Rod go, Lindsey will kill me if I don't talk about some of the fun promotions that are coming up this weekend for the Dirty Birds. Today is Winning Scratch-Off Wednesday, but tomorrow the Mothman is the focus.
Yes, we're wearing special Mothman jerseys tomorrow night. Some people pre-ordered them, and you can still get one because we'll have an online auction for those jerseys, game-worn jerseys, starting tomorrow. I'm not sure when it'll end. It usually ends about 24 hours after the game. So, yeah, we're playing as the Mothman tomorrow night, sort of a regional tribute to the folks in our region and the legends from our region. So that's tomorrow night. We've got a camo hat giveaway on Friday, school backpacks on giveaway on Saturday, along with the Mega Blast fireworks, and a youth cap giveaway on Sunday for the first 500 kids. So we have a lot of things going on. And it's a beautiful night for baseball here tonight, and it looks like it's going to be a beautiful night the next few. So come on over, come on out.
Remind Lindsay she owes me some Mothman swag. I think she avoids my calls when I ask her about them.
I will remind her of that today.
Rod, good talking.
No, but it's a fun time. It's a fun time to be here. And the great thing about baseball, especially at this level, is when you come out to the game, the best experiences are that you don't even remember who wins or loses. That's what they say about professional baseball a lot. Not so much Major League Baseball because more people have it on the line. But if we do our job right, we're having so much fun that you'll have so much fun that you'll want to come back no matter win, lose, or draw. And that's really happening this year because we're having our attendance is up. And I think the environment here is a whole lot more positive now that baseball's back and we know what to expect. And it's a lot of fun to be here, and I'll be having a little bit of fun down in the toast section with my colleagues down there, my sort of the coterie of creativity.
I just think the Toastman jerseys need to come back. Just Toastman jerseys.
I tell you what, there's some new people, again, some new friends that joined the toast section this year, and they surprised me last Thursday. They had a series of jerseys done that kind of like in the stripes of the old Charlie's jerseys, and just had toast on them. And I was shocked. I was just honored and shocked. And so there's some ideas out there about that sort of thing. But it's not about me. It's about the fun. And that's what we try to do around here.
Rod, good talking to you again. We'll do it soon. And for folks who maybe want to come up this weekend, Thursday, the Mothman game, the Mothman are going to be on the field. It's dirtybirdsbaseball.com. Get your tickets, and, of course, their auction as well. And hopefully Lindsay remembers me with my Mothman swag. If not, it's going to be awkward next week when we have that conversation.
It could be, yeah. All right, but I will remind her, I promise.
I appreciate it. Rod, thanks again for doing it, and good talking to you.
Anytime. Thanks. That's
Rod Blackstone, the Dirty Birds, in action tonight, taking on the Rockers. I don't know if I'm down with that name. The Rockers is okay as a name. It's not as good as Dirty Birds, but we continue to judge the minor league baseball names every week on the show. More coming up. It's The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
It's our final segment for this edition of The Drive for this August 17th. Our text line is still open. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Coming up tonight, Pirates baseball. 7:05 first pitch. We'll have it for you starting at 6:40 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Last few games, the Pirates have put up a 2-8 record. Out of the last 10, they are 2-8, and their batting average is .213. They have a 5.10 ERA, and they have been outscored by 12 runs. Rich Hill on the mound tonight for the Red Sox. He looks pretty good. Pirates need to find a way to stop the 5-game losing skid. They've got an opportunity tonight. We'll have it for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So that's what we have to look forward to. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again. We'll be that much closer to the start of football season, and hopefully things are going to be starting to ramp up real soon. I hope we have an opportunity here in the next few weeks to really start digging in. I know camp reports are sort of not happening as much as you would like, only because practice is closed. I know that's different. That's different from years past, so practice has been closed, so there's not much that's coming out day to day. There's not that minutia that we can just dive into. How did Columbia look today? Yeah, how's he performing? How did Rasheen look? That sort of day-to-day cadence that, as football fans, you love to hear as you get excited for your team, even though that's really not the entire story. That's not the full picture, because you can look really good in practice and then you get on the field and not look so good. So I know that's missing, and hopefully we'll get kind of an idea of what's happening tomorrow. I know Marshall will be putting out another camp report, and we'll try to get that for you tomorrow. But with that said, it doesn't matter here. In the next few weeks, we're going to have some real live fire action coming up, and then we'll have something really to talk about. Once we get to that first game, once we get to that Norfolk State game, and we can sort of see what the team looks like in relation to everything that we've heard, then we can really start talking. Until then, we've got an idea. But I know, I'm with you. I understand there as far as, you'd like to have more of a day-to-day from camp, or at least a more stream of information coming out. And, we'll get another update tomorrow from Marshall. And then Saturday's going to be fan day. Opportunity for you to go hang out and get some autographs and see the players and get excited about that. So that's coming up on Saturday. Don't forget, tomorrow there's soccer, Marshall in action. The women will be taking on High Point. Hope you can make it out to that. Have a great night, everyone. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington. This is your radio home for Pittsburgh Pirates baseball, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.